Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and I'm super excited to get to introduce you to today's guest, Mary Wright, who is one of the creators of this awesome women's running club that I recently found out about through one of our previous guests on the podcast, who was super inspirational. So if you did not listen to Alyssa Houtby's episodes, she actually shared her marathon and running story and then a little bit more of her health and fitness journey as well in a second episode. So definitely go check out those episodes. But that's how I found out about Mary Wright and her awesome running club. Really excited to share more about Mary with you. Before I do, I wanted to remind you that tomorrow is Global Running Day, and you are invited to share your running story as part of a special podcast episode I'm putting together. So if you did not submit your 1 to 3 minute sound file about why you love running and what running means to you and would like to be part of that episode and have a chance at winning a little prize for being one of the first 5 people to do so, you can head on over to today's show notes or just stay tuned until the end. I'll share a little bit more about that. And you have until 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, today, June 5th, 2018, to submit your stories. If you find that you want to share more than 3 minutes, you can also reach out to that same email address that I'll share with you and let me know what you would like to share in a longer episode, and I'd love to have you on a full episode of the Fit 15. All right, so let's get back to today's episode, though, and Mary Wright. Who is Mary Wright? Mary was born and raised in Santa Cruz, California, where she fell in love with running as a high school middle distance runner. She went on to run for UCLA and Cornell. She taught high school for almost 10 years while raising 3 little kids. She found she missed the connections, camaraderie, and goal chasing of the team environment. Her best friend, maid of honor, and She Is Beautiful race director and founder, Melissa, and Mary were looking for an all-women's intermediate to advanced team and couldn't find one. So with some sweat, love, and a lot of people who believed in the vision, they created Arete Women's Running Club in 2016, and they've grown rapidly since. It turns out there are many women looking for an empowering environment for women supporting women. Mary, welcome to the podcast show. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So we shared in your bio that you are one of the co-founders, I guess, right, of Arete Women's Running Club. Can you share a little bit more about that and how it got started?
Sure. My best friend and I, Melissa, we've been running together since we were in high school, and so about almost 20 years now.
Wow. Yep.
We went our own ways for college, and then we moved back to Santa Cruz, and we got married and had jobs and started having kids, and we realized we really missed competing, and we're looking for an all-women's group that was drama-free but still wanted to be competitive and supportive and have fun, and we just couldn't find it. So we just, let's do it. Let's just make it happen. And so one thing led to the next, and started in 2016 in the spring, and we took a small group of our friends out to coffee, some of our favorite diehard runners in town, and we told them a little bit about what we wanted to do, and they were on board right away. And it was really cool. At the same time, Rabbit, the new apparel brand, was just launching. And Melissa knew one of the owners, Monica, and we kind of connected with them, and Monica and Jill, and they had just started, and we're like, hey, do you guys want to make our uniforms? And cool. So that kind of was neat that we both started 2 women's owned organizations companies start at the same time, and so that kind of helped launch both of us as well. And then we just started in Santa Cruz that year, and we had a lot of fun, and we were partnering with local companies and brands, and we're competing. And then some of our friends in the Bay Area, in Oakland, and various locations found out about it. And we thought, I guess we could go to other locations.
Yeah.
So in the fall, we decided we would launch in Oakland. And so that was our first location outside of Santa Cruz. And the leader of Oakland was also someone. So there's been a lot of really neat connections in the running world through Arete, like people we've known our whole lives and people we went to high school with, and we're realizing that it's just something that communities really want and need. These groups of women who aren't necessarily beginner runners, have very full, diverse lives, but really love the sport and love to compete and be around really other supportive women. So that's kind of how it got started and started growing outside of our town.
No, that's awesome. And then, so you have one team, but then you have all these different chapters is the way it's set up. And
Right.
how does that work?
So we have the one team in Santa Cruz is how we started. And then I provide the workouts for each location based on races they're doing locally.
Okay.
So if, for example, in Sacramento, they're doing, a half marathon or some local 5Ks, they'll train for those. And then we also do a few big meetups each year with all the different chapters. So we try to do 2 to 3 races a year where everyone from all over the place meets up and we kind of try to make a social activity out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty fun. We do a lot of communicating on a group forum where we post videos and inspiration and recipes. So that's kind of how it's set up. And then there's a team leader at each location. So someone who...
Hi friends, it's Catherine. If you are joining us and only have time for that out and back 15-minute walk, that was your cue to turn around. We are halfway through 15 minutes. All right, back to Mary.
Really wanted to bring Arete to their community, and they are present at most of the workouts, and they're kind of like the spirit and the organization behind the local aspect of each chapter. So these women, the leaders, are huge. They've really created Arete in each of these communities. So there's some pretty special women who've decided to take it on and lead in various locations.
No, that's awesome. So where are all the different chapters that you have right now?
So right now we have Santa Cruz, we have the Peninsula, San Francisco Peninsula, we have San Francisco City, Oakland, we have Sacramento, we have a small team in Chico, we have a remote team, so we have women from all over the country, Wisconsin and Ohio and just North Carolina, various locations that are all on this remote team. So they're still part of the team, but they don't necessarily have a chapter.
Sure.
And then we're adding one more chapter at the end of this month for 2018. So that's happening soon. It's happening right now. So we'll find out soon who the new chapter is.
I was gonna say, is it going to be in SoCal?
Maybe. We will see.
have to keep checking.
So we really do feel like it could be and should be in many different cities.
Yeah.
There's just been so much interest, so it's pretty exciting.
No, that's awesome.
So
when you ended up initially meeting with a bunch of your friends and asking them if they would be interested in being a part of this women's running club, and they were really excited about it, obviously that must have been really, really exciting for you. And then what impact have you actually seen it have on the different women that have been involved after it did get started?
Right. So women come to Arete for various reasons, and so the impact has been different for each woman, but I feel like it's been so powerful, and it's been incredible to see the various stories unfold I would say a lot of women come to the team because they're looking for good running friends who are of a similar pace and have the same love for running. So there's been some just really great friendships that we've seen through Arete that maybe they wouldn't necessarily have otherwise. So people with completely different lives that they then connect on Arete and they become best running friends. So that's been really cool. And I also feel like it's this space where women can come to and they realize that they're faster and stronger than they thought they were. I think that that's something that I really can see and envision, and I like to help women realize is that actually you are faster and stronger than you think you are. And then, so I believe that, and then I feel like it really is helpful for them to see that in themselves through this team of really supportive, drama-free women. So that's been huge. And then there's been some incredible performances in the last couple years. Just women having big breakthroughs. I mean, I would say most people on our team, I mean, none of us are professional runners.
Right.
There are some people that, they might be sometime heading for Olympic trials time or lots of people aiming for Boston qualifiers. But I'd say at Mountains to Beach race this past weekend, we had some incredible breakthrough performances. One of our teammates, Melissa, actually ran a 2:55 marathon, and then we had people PRing by 20 minutes and racing together or meeting teammates that they had never met because they're in a different chapter.
Right.
So there's just so many cool stories.
Yeah, no, and I learned about Arete from Alyssa Helpy, who is amazing.
Yes, she is.
And inspirational. Everyone who hasn't listened to her episode definitely should.
Yeah, she's one of our awesome remote members who has a lot on her plate and manages to make running an important part of her life and a big outlet. And I think that's true for a lot of women on the team.
Yeah. And running Mountains to Beach, I saw a lot of Arete women on the sidelines cheering, so that was really appreciated near the end.
Oh yeah, we take our cheering duties very seriously. Sometimes it's fun not to race and just to cheer. The energy in races is so powerful.
I totally agree. This past weekend I went, and there's a small community, very community feel racing series here in Southern California called the Better World Running, and I use that running some 5Ks there to help do some speed work for my marathon because my schedule's crazy and I didn't really have time to do track workouts, and so I just really appreciate them. Yeah, but went out and just helped out, and just you can't help but get excited and inspired by being around other runners, even when you're not running, right? So
exactly, it's so fun. Everyone's on the same page.
Yep. So really exciting. I guess where do you see the team going in the next maybe 5 years, and how can listeners become a part of that vision or just follow along? And
Melissa and I have recently met and talked about where we see it going and build and improve and use the feedback from our current members to say, what do you feel like is working? What do you want more of? I mean, because we very much have that grassroots feel that we want people, the members, to really be a part of, have the voice and be a part of the say and where we go and what we are. We would love to continue to grow into other cities. And that's just a matter of finding the right leaders and finding core groups of diehards in each town. So, if people are listening and they want to have Arete in their town, we have lots of people who reach out and say, do you have it in Dallas, Texas? And we're like, not yet, but that's something that we would definitely consider. So, it just takes a strong leader, and then there's a process from there. But we really envision that we could grow beyond where we are and continue to have chapters throughout the country. So that's kind of where we would like to go, and keep having fun local races and huge group team meetups. And we're going to continue to work on, connecting people, because a lot of people are traveling and they want to know, where are Arete teammates? Because, you travel to a new location and you want to have fun, safe running buddies who are similar paces. So that's another piece that we're looking at as well.
Yeah, no, that's super awesome, and I can relate to wanting to be able to have someone to run with when I travel myself. So would love to see that and be able to be a part of that. Very cool. I love it, and you shared a bunch of links and everything for us. Oh, I guess, we didn't even talk about the name. So can you explain where you came up with the name and what Arete means, why it's the name of the running club?
Right, that's a great question. So when Melissa and I were thinking of a name, we initially thought of like these obvious runner things that it could be like gazelles or cheetahs, and like, I don't know, we kind of want something that encompasses more,
Mm.
and and kind of something that's fun, like a word that people couldn't really pronounce and were wondering what it meant. And then we were running in the forest, and we ran into this local race director, and he's like, I've got a name for you. You have to do Arete. And he's like, it's a Greek philosophy. Go look it up. And it basically means to live up to one's full potential
Mm.
by pursuing athletic pursuits in a balanced way. So there's a lot more behind it, but we really feel like that's what we're about.
Yeah.
Living a full, balanced life and adding athleticism to our life to improve all aspects of us. So that's kind of where
Mhm.
that came from.
That's awesome, and I think it is perfect for how you've described the running club.
Ah,
So
think
really
so.
cool, really cool, awesome. So
Yeah.
I'll put all this in the show notes, Mary. But what is the best way for people to connect with you guys, just so they kind of have it on their mind, anyways?
Sure. We're on Instagram is probably the way people connect with us most. It's
Sure.
Run Arete, RUNARETE,
Hmm.
and our website is runarete.com, and then you can email us info@runarete.com.
Awesome. Well, it's been so great having
Yeah.
you as a guest today. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hey friends, it's Catherine, and I wanted to sneak back on to share about our Global Running Day celebration and how you can be involved in tomorrow's podcast episode. All you need to do is send an audio file to podcast@fitarmadillo.com. The easiest way to do that is to use this great little website I found called recordmp3online.com. You can just press play and stop, and you will be able to send me a link. You don't even have to download an audio file, so that's probably the easiest way to do it. I will add all that info to today's show notes, but I'd love to have you share 1 to 3 minutes about running and what it means to you and why you love it, to inspire more of our listeners to become runners. Thank you for being a part of that. Submissions are due today at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 8 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. And actually, it's probably Pacific Daylight Time, but we'll just say Pacific Time. This time zone math has been really tripping me up lately. But basically, get that audio file in as soon as you can. If you have a lot more to share, I'm happy to have you on the podcast for a longer episode. And as always, I appreciate you listening to the podcast. If you subscribe, I will chat with you again tomorrow through that Global Running Day episode. On Thursday, Mary's going to be back for another episode and sharing more about her journey starting the Arete Running Club. So hopefully inspire some of you who want to be entrepreneurs out there and have your own little side hustle and watch that grow. So you definitely want to stay tuned and subscribe so you don't miss out on that. And if you are enjoying the podcast, don't forget to head on over to iTunes and or Stitcher and make my day by leaving a review. That really helps other people find the show. Thanks so much for listening, and I will chat with you tomorrow. Bye.